Okay, in this lesson, we're going to talk about how to simplify square roots. And in order to simplify square roots, you first want to know all of your perfect squares by memory. Here's the ones just from 1 square to 12 square. We know things like the square root of 36 is 6. Square root of 100 is 10. When you're taking the square root of a perfect square, it's just going to be an integer. But when we take the square root of something that's not a perfect square, say the square root of 8, 8's not on our list, then we need to find a factor that divides evenly into 8. So 1 is going to divide evenly into everything and not help us very much. Does 4 divide evenly into 8? Yes, it goes in 2 times. So we say 4 is a factor of 8. So we're going to split up the square root of 8 into the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. These two things have to multiply to give us the number that we started with. Now that we're to this point, we look at the number that's the perfect square, and we say, what is the square root of 4? Well, the square root of 4 is 2. And then can we take the square root of 2? The second part, no, so it just stays the square root of 2. So we get 2 times the square root of 2. If we want to take the square root of 75, we can simplify that. 75 is not a perfect square, so we look at our list and say, does 4, does 9, does 16, does 25? And we find the biggest one is actually a factor of 75. So 25 is a factor of 75. We can multiply 25 times 3. So we're going to write this the square root of 25 times the square root of 3. And the square root of 25 is 5. And since we can't take the square root of 3, we leave that one, the square root of 3. I'm going to do one more of these. Let's say we have the square root of 24. So we look at 24 and we go through our list and say, what's the biggest number that goes into it? It's a factor. Well, 4 is the biggest one that's a factor. So it would be 4 times, and whatever 4 times to get 24, and that's 6. So the square root of 4 is 2. And 6 doesn't have any perfect squares in it, so 4 times the square root of 6.